Welcome back to Football Fans TV. The weekend is finally here, it's upon us, and we've got some even more interesting fixtures to get down to this weekend. What I'm going to start with, the Arsenal, the Spurs versus Arsenal game, the London derby. That's the first game of the weekend. That's how we're kicking our weekend off, and while it promises to be amazing, this particular derby for me, it has a slight edge. Maybe because of the signings Arsenal have just made and the recent results beating Everton, what was it, 4-1, 5-1, beating Everton 5-1, and now Arsenal fans, the whole clique, the whole crew, the whole Arsenal army is now on. We're back in business, and with this big team again. So I mean, Liverpool played against Spurs last weekend, and what I did notice about Spurs is they set themselves up differently, because against Liverpool they played in a diamond within the midfield, where they had Dembele sitting back with Dyer on his right, Ali on his left, and Eriksen just in front of him. So instead of, he usually plays a 4-2-3-1, but then instead of that he played a more diamond. So, because simply just to counter the fact that Liverpool have wingers that like to cut in and they don't actually stay out wide, so he wanted to have more men within the middle of the pitch. And I mean, Arsenal now playing a similar game, because Arsenal now playing Wenger in his last game against Everton where they won 5-1, he decided to change it up a bit and play, instead of playing his usual 3-4-3, he switched it up and he played 4-2-3-1. And with this formation, it allowed Mkhitaryan the three that he had was Ozil, Mkhitaryan and Iwobi, and throughout the game those three just interchanged position. There was no set right winger, number 10 or left winger. They just kept moving throughout the game. They just kept changing position and moving around. But the case was the same each time. Someone kept cutting in. They didn't really spend much time out wide, in the wide areas of the pitch, putting in crosses and all that. But they kept cutting in. So it's going to be quite interesting to see if Pochettino stays the diamond that he played with against Liverpool before Wanyama came on. Because, I mean, Arsenal and Liverpool will play a similar game. We like to cut in. Or he goes back to his old 4-2-3-1 and matches Wenger in his new formation. But either way, it's going to be interesting to see, especially with the Arsenal. They didn't play Lacazette at all last weekend. He was on the bench the whole time. And it's going to be quite intriguing to see. I still don't think he'll get a game this weekend. I don't think he'll come on, because I mean, and Wilshere's another one, because it's kind of hard to put in Wilshere. Wenger's never going to take Xhaka off. That's one thing we all need to just realize. Wenger loves Xhaka, and he's not going to replace him with anyone else. So you can't take Ramsey off. Ramsey's just scored a hat-trick. Similar situation now with Lacazette coming on. Aubameyang had an amazing debut. He's playing really well. I can't see Lacazette coming back in there. And against Spurs, I can't see Wenger sacrificing one of his midfielders to come, one of his midfielders for Lacazette. Because against Spurs, they're going to have to be very disciplined defensively. And I don't think Lacazette coming on, for example, for Iwobi on the right wing, I don't think Lacazette is going to help that much defensively the way Arsenal are going to need him to. So, to be honest with you, it's going to be interesting to see who Wenger actually decides to start with. Because, to be honest, I would personally want to see Wilshere next to Ramsey, and then whoever he plays, the three in front, Mkhitaryan, Ozil, whether it's Iwobi, Lacazette, and Aubameyang, I'm not really interested. But then the midfield part, because for Arsenal's sake, I would love to see that Wilshere and Ramsey combination, see how it goes. They've never really had a chance to utilize it, because one's always been injured while the other one is playing, or one's been in bad form, etc. So it'll be nice to see how that works with the front four that they have in front of them. In terms of Spurs, once again, it's going to be interesting to see if they stick to the diamond or he goes with a 4-2-3-1. And I mean, with Son and Eriksen, the form Kane is in. I don't know, it's going to be a very interesting derby. And thank God this is what starts our weekend off. It's going to be that much better. And honestly, I think these teams are just going to cancel each other out. And my prediction for this derby is a 1-0 draw. Silence. I think it's going to be a 1-0 draw. Maybe a Kane goal and an Aubameyang goal. But yeah, I think they're going to cancel each other out. The other game is I'm going to stay in London. Chelsea play West Brom on Sunday, and I mean the form Chelsea's in. Like I said last weekend, I mean this is the Monday night game. Chelsea at home to West Brom, and the form Chelsea's in, I still can't go with them. I know West Brom is the bottom of the log, and West Brom don't really have a hope right now. They're 4 points behind the team that's in 19th, and even if they win, so basically, I think even though West Brom don't have a hope, I still feel with the form Chelsea's in, and no one really seems to care at that club right now. The manager doesn't seem concerned. The players don't seem like they want to play, and I mean, I think the only hope for Chelsea is if they actually give Giroud a run. If Giroud starts for Chelsea, because what they were lacking even in their last game is a focal point. They were playing with the false nine, Hazard. And the thing about Chelsea going forward is most times, if you've seen a season, someone like Aspilicueta has always picked up the ball in defence and just looked up and always just put in a ridiculously amazing ball for Morata. And Morata, I mean, they've combined about 3 or 4 times this season. But in the last game, that's the one thing Chelsea were really lacking. Like going forward, they didn't have. There was nothing going on, and most times as a false nine, you didn't really see Hazard drop back and try and look for position and try and pick it up. And when he did, there was a defender right behind him like this, so he never got the chance to turn on it and attack the defenders. So I think Chelsea's only hope in this game will be to actually go with Giroud, start with the focal point up front, use their wings, use their wing backs, whether it's Moses or Zappacosta or whoever's playing, use the wing backs and put crosses in. Giroud will get them something against West Brom. And I mean, with the way Chelsea's been playing, you ask yourself, where's Kante? Where's he been? He's not breaking down play the same way as Fabregas. Fabregas has gone missing the last month or so. I haven't seen Fabregas. When he did come on after 13 minutes for Bakayoko, he was really a passenger as well. He didn't do much. And Doucouré and Capoue had both of them in their pockets. But I mean, West Brom as well, looking at them, I see someone like Daniel Sturridge. He's just made his move to West Brom. He had a decent performance in the last game, even though they ended up losing to Southampton 3-2. Sturridge had his moments, picked up the ball in good places, turned his man, looked up, played a couple of good 1-2s, but he's still to get off the mark and make an actual impression. And I have a feeling like him going back to his old club, to Chelsea, whenever Daniel's always gone back to the bridge, he's always had a good performance. Whether he's scored or not, he's either assisted or he's just had a very good performance. And I think for him and West Brom, because definitely they're going to go there wanting to win, no doubt about it. The form Chelsea's in, Alan Pardew would be silly to go there and not want to leave with 3 points, because they need it. And I think with Sturridge going back to his old stadium, his old home, I think it might just give him that little bit more incentive to go a bit harder. And I see West Brom sneaking away with it. I'm sorry once again. One of the viewers, Martin, accused me for going hard on Chelsea again. I'm sorry, Martin, as well. But the form your team is in, I don't know. I can't back Chelsea right now. There doesn't really seem to be any unity in the way you're playing. Your football is very boring. I think this is the most boring I've ever seen Chelsea play. Very, very boring, and it's stagnant football. It's not. But we'll see how that goes. Once again, my prediction, I feel like a Daniel Sturridge. In fact, I think it'll be a 2-1. Scratch the one, it'll be a 2-1. I think West Brom will score a late winner. Daniel Sturridge will score a late winner or something, and they'll sneak away with a win in this one. We've got Southampton at home to Liverpool. So basically, half of our team is going back to their old stadium. I think Lallana might have a game. He got a ban. He got a red card in the under-23s game. But from what I've read, he's only now banned from the under-23 games, so he can still play in the Premier League, which is a bit weird, because if that's the case, I don't see him ever being pushed back to the under-23s to serve his ban. But I don't know. That's a different case. Lallana's going to be going back. Mane's going to be going back to his old stadium. Van Dijk is going to be going back to his old stadium. And who else do we have in there? Yeah, I think it's supposed to be. Yeah, I think that's about it. They're all going back to the old stadium. And I mean, Jamie Carragher mentioned it as well, that Van Dijk looks a bit overweight and a bit unfit. And you know, against Spurs, I thought about it and I watched him precisely from what Jamie Carragher had mentioned. And he did, I mean, even his last challenge, the one that gave away the penalty, it was very lazy. And this is late in the game. I feel like he was tired, and I mean, the ball was there to be won. It was a 50-50, and unfortunately Lamela just put his body in front of him. But he looked tired, even the way he tackled him, the way he put his leg up, and I mean the speed at which he tried to put it back down before kicking him. It was all just really slow, and he really does. Hopefully this week they've been putting in a lot of effort and training on him, because he looks tired, he looks overweight and unfit. We'll see how he plays when he goes back to St. Mary's. And really unfortunate statistic I've picked up about Liverpool is that after Arsenal, we've dropped 15 points. Liverpool they've dropped 12 points from winning positions. And I think the team after us is Man United. They've only dropped 4. So now if you look at the difference between Man United sitting in third in terms of drop points within the top 6, they've only dropped 4 points from winning positions. Liverpool has dropped 12. I mean, Arsenal was at their own type of season. But I mean, that's a really disappointing statistic from us. And as much as our defense might have improved over the last month or so, I mean, that's something we really need to fix. And even in this game, I feel like, okay, I've got Liverpool to win 3-2. I've got us to edge, to have that little bit of edge over Southampton. I mean, Southampton are always, because of the fact that we always take their players, whenever we go there, they're always psyched up. The fans are always behind the players. I think that's the day they make the most noise. And it's going to be the same, especially since we just robbed Van Dijk off them. They're going to be fired up. They're going to be waiting for us, and they're going to make a lot of noise that day. But I see us edging it over Southampton and just winning 3-2. It's going to be a tight game. There are going to be goals, obviously. We're going to score goals. It's Liverpool. We're going to concede goals. It's Liverpool. Definitely going to be goals in the game. And yeah, I mean, Southampton, they played well in the last game as well against West Brom. So, I mean, that's a positive for them. They won it 3-2. And it's going to be a very interesting game. Besides the Spurs and Arsenal, not just because I'm a Liverpool fan, but besides the Spurs and Arsenal game, this is one game you don't want to miss, because Southampton they're going to bring the game to us. The other game we have is Newcastle against Man United. To be honest, Newcastle, I don't see them. They're at home, but I honestly don't see them doing much in this game. United have been in very good form. They've only dropped points against Spurs, which is the game before their last game, where they lost 2-0. But besides that, they've been winning consistently, and now with Sanchez added in the picture, I really don't see Newcastle doing anything in this game. I love Rafa Benitez, I love the Geordies, but this is going to be a really tough one, and I don't see them getting anything out of it, even scoring at all, because David Gea is best keeper in the league. Even though Newcastle, fair enough, they did manage to get a draw in their last game away at Crystal Palace. This is a whole different ball game away. I mean, they're at home. This is a whole different ball game playing against United, and I've got United for an easy 2-0 win. I reckon the way Sanchez and Lukaku, they sort of had something going on between the two of them in the last game. It's going to be interesting to see. I think they'll both get a goal now, and it will end up 2-0 to United. It will be an easy game, possession to United. Newcastle will sit back, they'll concede, they'll try counter and get punished again for playing attacking football. And yeah, it'll be an easy game for United. And the last game is Man City at home to Leicester. I don't know if Burnley I mean, not really exposed. I mean, Liverpool did beat Man City and we said they've been exposed, etc., etc. So I don't think Burnley really exposed them, but they just showed that if you're defensively compact and you have a very good defensive game against Man City, there's always a chance of you. Of course, you're going to need a bit of luck. Sterling missed in front of goal. You're going to need luck as well. But if you're defensively solid, you're compact and you're disciplined, there's always a chance of you sneaking one against Man City, and you could. That's what Burnley did last weekend with Goodmanson. He scored and it finished 1-0. So now, if you're Leicester, I mean, they're not at home. They're going away to Man City, to the Etihad. So if you're Leicester and you watched that game last week, even though Burnley were at home, Claude Puel is probably analysing the game and thinking, if we go there and we actually have a plan to be defensively compact, fair enough, they still don't have Mahrez. He hasn't decided he doesn't want to train anymore. But they've got Jamie Vardy on the counter-attack. And I mean, I'm not sure if he's going to go with Company again, because he played Company against Burnley and he was very shaky. Like I said about 3 weeks ago, Company is finished. He needs to just get rid of him. That's why he got Laporte, but he needs to stop playing him. Because if he's got Company, if he decides to go with Company and Otamendi, Leicester can sit back. I feel like Leicester can sit back. They can play on the counter. Jamie Vardy, he can run all day. And Leicester might be able to make some noise. Either way, Man City, of course, they're at home. They're still going to win. But I feel like they can get a goal. And my prediction for this one is like 3-1. I reckon Man City will get 3-1. And I mean, they're 13 points clear already. Like, I think now we've got 12 games to go. 13 points clear. So I think this is going to be an easy win as well for Man City. But I mean, if Leicester stick to their game plan and they actually have a game plan, I wouldn't be surprised if they go and sneak something. It's going to be very difficult and it's against the odds, but it's football. That's what happens in football. But yeah, there we go. Those are my predictions for the Big Six's fixtures this weekend. Hopefully I get, last week I think I got 3 out of 5. Hopefully this weekend I can improve. I can get 4 at least. But hopefully it's going to be a good weekend. Don't miss the Spurs and Arsenal game. Don't miss the Liverpool. In fact, all of these 5 games you don't want to miss any of them. They're going to be very interesting. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed my little bit of analysis. I'm trying here and there. And my predictions. Hopefully I'm right. And yeah, stay tuned. Cheers, guys.